Right. So the situation we find in 1985 is a kind of stalemate. Israel has withdrawn from most of southern Lebanon, though they retained the security buffer zone. However, that buffer zone was not large enough to prevent Katyusha rocket attacks and some larger artillery pieces from reaching Israel itself. But the major consequence of this war was undoubtedly the creation of Hezbollah, which is Arabic for the Party of God. It is a Shia organization. It is not Sunni, as is Hamas and the PLO. From the Hezbollah mission statement, we find, quote, "We see in Israel the vanguard of the United States in our Islamic world. It is the hated enemy that must be fought until the hated ones get what they deserve. This enemy is the greatest danger to our future generations and to the destiny of our lands, particularly as it glorifies the ideas of settlement and expansion, initiated in Palestine and yearning outward to the extension of the great Israel, from the Euphrates to the Nile. Our primary assumption in our fight against Israel states that the Zionist entity is aggressive from its inception and built on lands wrested from their owners at the expense of the rights of the Muslim people. Therefore, our struggle will end only when this entity is obliterated. We recognize no treaty with it, no ceasefire, and no peace agreements, whether separate or consolidated. We vigorously condemn all plans for negotiation with Israel and regard all negotiators as enemies, for the reason that such negotiation is nothing but the recognition of the legitimacy of the Zionist occupation of Palestine." This was not what Israel had intended the outcome of the 1982 invasion to be, not in the least. We have an interesting bit of primary source evidence for Hezbollah. It's an interview from 1986, 1 year after Israel had left the majority of Lebanon, an interview with Mohammed Hussein Fadlallah, the founder of Hezbollah. In 1992, Fadlallah was replaced with its current leader, Hassan Nasrallah. Turning now to this interview, several interesting things are at play here. On the one hand, a discussion is made early on between the difference between Hezbollah on the one hand and another group called Amal, A-M-A-L. Amal you can think of as a less religious form of Hezbollah, just as in many ways the PLO is a less religious form of Hamas. Amal predates Hezbollah. It's an Arabic word. It means hope. It was a Shia militia. But that's far and away not the most important thing that we find in this interview, an interview given to the Journal of Palestinian Studies. Page 5. Fadlallah makes clear his position towards Israel and their larger strategy when he says, quote, "Hezbollah's strategy is a strategy of jihad that insists that the presence of Israel in Palestine is illegal and that it is an imperialist base which represents a great danger to the Arab and Islamic worlds. It must, therefore, be removed from the map completely. This is what the slogan of liberating Jerusalem represents, since Jerusalem is the Islamic symbol for all of Palestine. The importance of Jerusalem can never be overstated. After all, the name for Jerusalem in Arabic is Al-Quds, Q-U-D-S. It literally means the holy place. There can be no negotiation when discussing the holy place. On page 6, in response to a question about an Islamic republic and Hezbollah's relationship to Iran, an Islamic republic that had been founded. And of course, in 1979, a topic we will discuss much more at length when we get to Iran. Fadlallah says, quote, it sees Islam, Hezbollah that is, sees Islam as an all-encompassing religion that can devise plans to solve the problems of the material world. Several people object to the plan for an Islamic state and accuse its advocates of extremism. But they do not object to the plan for a Marxist state, which opposes all religions. Islam, in its political plan, does not contradict Christianity, which does not have in its intellectual base a political plan. Christianity is an act of faith. The kingdom of Christ is not of this world. Continuing on the theme of extremism, on page 9, Journal of Palestinian Studies asks, Hezbollah is characterized in the West as an extremist organization. How do you react to that characterization? Fadlallah responds, I do not agree with this classification. I see in Hezbollah a current committed to Islamic thought through civilized means. It tries to benefit from all the capabilities available in the region. Extremism implies a commitment to an idea that is far from reality. We do not find the thinking of believers, either in terms of method or goal. We do not find this in the thinking of believers, either in terms of method or goal. What we have then in Hezbollah is an organization that will be mirrored in 1987 when Hamas is formed in the West Bank. The two organizations are remarkably similar, their main difference being one is Sunni, Hamas, and the other, Hezbollah, is Shia. Israel had hoped that by invading Lebanon in 1982 they would remove the threat to northern Israel from PLO artillery and rocket positions. Fortunately for Israel, this goal was not realized. And in fact, the frequency of attacks from southern Lebanon into Israel has increased greatly since the days the PLO were operating the show. Moreover, the technology used by militants, in this case Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, has increased as well. Originally, both the PLO and Hezbollah were using Katyusha rockets. They date from World War II, built by the Soviets, short range, 12, 15, sometimes 20 miles. However, in recent years, because of Hezbollah's relationship with Iran, a new series of rockets has begun to become available to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. In particular, the Fajr 3 and Fajr 5, with ranges up to 45 miles. This represents a significant increase in the danger posed by rocket sites in southern Lebanon, because not only is the range of these weapons increased, but the payload is much, much greater. The payload of a Fajr 5 rocket is 90 kilograms. 90 kilograms is well over 200 pounds of high explosive. Danger is real indeed. An increasingly large amount of Israel is coming within range of these Hezbollah rockets. We can see here the Fajr 5s can reach almost halfway down into Israel. And there are indications, although they have never been confirmed, that Iran has also shipped to Hezbollah the Zelzal 2 missile, which can reach nearly the entirety of the populated regions of Israel. Most in the line of fire, though, is undoubtedly the port city of Haifa. What we're going to see now is a rather remarkable bit of home video taken in Haifa of what happens when one of these Hezbollah rockets unexpectedly falls.